I watched helplessly as the man I loved wrapped his arms lovingly around my best friend, her laughter echoing cruelly in my ears. Their betrayal ripped through me like a knife, shattering my heart into irreparable fragments. As tears blurred my vision and pain numbed my senses, a speeding car ended everything in a flash. But death wasn't the end, it was my new beginning. Elena's perfect life collapsed the moment she discovered her fiancé, Marcus, embracing her best friend, Claudia, at her own engagement party. The betrayal felt brutal, their whispers cutting her soul deeper than 1,000 blades. Marcus, how could you? Claudia, after everything we've shared? Elena's voice trembled with hurt and disbelief. Marcus's eyes were cold, distant. You were never good enough, Elena. Claudia is everything you're not. The cruel echo of laughter filled the room as Elena ran from her nightmare into the stormy night. Blinded by tears, her steps faltered. The blaring of a horn came too late. The world faded into darkness. A sharp breath startled Elena awake. She sat up, heart racing, in a lavish yet unfamiliar room. Glancing at her reflection, she gasped. A younger version of herself stared back. Impossible. She whispered, realizing she had returned 5 years into the past with all memories intact. Determined, Elena vowed never to repeat her naive mistakes. She knew Marcus's heartless nature, Claudia's cunning duplicity. This time, she'd rewrite her fate, ensuring their betrayal wouldn't be her end, but their downfall. Fueled by betrayal and revenge, Elena immersed herself in personal growth, becoming a confident, empowered woman. She excelled academically, started a thriving fashion business, and became a well-known influencer whose elegance and charm captivated the entire nation. As Elena flourished, whispers spread like wildfire. Marcus, intrigued by her transformation, attempted to reconnect. Claudia watched jealously from afar, unable to comprehend Elena's new radiant glow. At the grand gala event celebrating her newest fashion collection, Elena stood radiant and confident before countless cameras. Her heart froze briefly as Marcus and Claudia appeared, their faces masks of false friendship. Marcus approached confidently, believing Elena would welcome him back. Smiling, he reached out to take her hand. I missed you, Elena. Let's put our past behind us. Elena's laughter was cold and sharp, silencing the entire room. Marcus, our past is exactly where you belong, forgotten. She paused dramatically, then turned to Claudia, a subtle smile playing on her lips. As for you, Claudia, I must thank you. If it weren't for your betrayal, I'd never have discovered my true strength. Gasps echoed around them. Claudia's face twisted with fury and humiliation as Marcus's expression crumbled. But before either could respond, the large screen behind Elena flickered to life. A scandalous video played, exposing Claudia's and Marcus's shady business deals and betrayals against their partners. The crowd erupted into chaos, cameras flashing wildly. Elena watched calmly, a fierce satisfaction in her eyes. Checkmate. As chaos erupted around her, Elena turned away, her heels clicking confidently against the marble floor. The humiliation Marcus and Claudia suffered was just the beginning, yet she felt a pang of emptiness rather than victory. Her heart, she realized, was still wounded, still seeking something more meaningful than mere revenge. Later that night, as she gazed out from the balcony of her luxurious penthouse, the city lights sparkled below her like stars. A gentle voice startled her thoughts. Was it worth it, Elena? Turning swiftly, Elena faced Lucas, Marcus's enigmatic younger brother, whom she'd known briefly in her previous life, but had never truly understood. His calm expression and intense eyes unsettled her in ways she refused to acknowledge. Lucas, what are you doing here? She asked sharply, hiding her vulnerability behind a cold facade. Lucas approached slowly, his gaze unwavering. I came to warn you. Marcus and Claudia won't go down without a fight. They've lost face, but not power. Elena's heart quickened, a mixture of intrigue and apprehension swirling inside her. Why help me? He hesitated, his eyes darkening with concealed emotion. Because, Elena, you're not the only one they've betrayed. Intrigued by Lucas's cryptic words, Elena allowed herself a cautious alliance with him. As they began to work together, she realized Lucas had long been secretly building a case against Marcus and Claudia. His evidence went deeper, uncovering corruption far beyond her initial exposure. Each late-night session strategizing with Lucas brought unexpected warmth into her life. Gradually, Elena's cold exterior began to thaw. Lucas's calm strength and gentle sincerity made her question the bitterness that had defined her new life. One evening, Lucas reached for Elena's hand, his voice steady yet charged with unspoken emotion. "Elena, your revenge was powerful, but don't let it consume you. You deserve happiness beyond Marcus's shadow." She pulled away, conflicted and vulnerable. "I can't afford happiness." "Not yet." Soon after, anonymous threats began flooding Elena's inbox, warning her to cease her investigations. Marcus and Claudia retaliated viciously, business deals suddenly collapsed, investors withdrew support, and scandals mysteriously appeared, attempting to tarnish Elena's pristine reputation. However, when Lucas suddenly disappeared without a trace, Elena's carefully constructed composure shattered. Fear gripped her heart as she realized Marcus and Claudia were far more ruthless than she'd anticipated. Determined, Elena refused to crumble. She rallied her strength, turning the scandals to her advantage through sheer resilience and ingenuity, turning adversity into triumph again. The world marveled at her ability to rise from ashes repeatedly, fueling her public image even further. Yet, privately, Elena began desperately searching for Lucas. His absence forced her to confront feelings she'd vehemently denied, feelings far deeper and more genuine than she'd ever known with Marcus. After weeks of searching, Elena received an anonymous message and address hidden deep in the outskirts of town. Without hesitation, she drove into the darkness, knowing she risked everything. But the thought of Lucas suffering, or worse, pushed her forward. Arriving at an abandoned building, Elena cautiously entered, heart pounding. She gasped as Lucas emerged from the shadows, injured yet still standing strong. "Lucas!" Elena cried, running to him. He caught her in his arms, relief mingling with tension. Before he could speak, another figure stepped from the darkness, a face Elena never expected to see again. "Hello, Elena. Did you miss me?" Her blood turned cold as she recognized the voice. It was Claudia, but something was very wrong. Claudia's desperate, haunted expression spoke volumes of darker forces at play. "I need your help," Claudia whispered urgently. "Marcus has gone too far. He's lost control, Elena. We're all in danger." Elena's breath hitched, suspicion battling sympathy within her chest. Claudia, the woman who'd torn her life apart, now stood before her begging for help. The irony wasn't lost on Elena. "Why should I believe a single word you say?" Elena demanded sharply, shielding Lucas protectively behind her. Claudia's eyes filled with genuine fear, something Elena had never seen before. Her voice trembled with desperation, barely audible. "Because Marcus isn't who you think he is. He's been manipulating all of us. Everything I did, it was because he threatened me, Elena. If we don't stop him now, he'll destroy us all." Elena hesitated, searching Claudia's haunted expression for deceit, but she only found genuine terror. Lucas squeezed Elena's hand gently, silently urging her to trust. "What exactly is Marcus planning?" Elena finally asked guardedly. Claudia took a shaky breath, eyes darting nervously around the shadows. "He plans to frame you for everything: embezzlement, fraud, sabotage. Your empire, your reputation, all of it will vanish overnight. And once you're destroyed, he'll make you disappear permanently." Elena's heart raced, her grip tightening around Lucas's hand. This new revelation shattered all previous boundaries. Driven by necessity, Elena formed an uneasy truce with Claudia, knowing her trust was fragile at best. They secretly returned to Lucas's hidden safe house, a secure location tucked away from prying eyes. As Elena carefully tended Lucas's injuries, their bond grew stronger, the shared danger intensifying their connection. In quiet moments, Lucas finally shared his painful truth. "Marcus always resented me, Elena. Our father favored me, and Marcus's envy poisoned everything. He manipulated everyone around us, even Claudia, to gain control. Your betrayal was just one piece of his twisted puzzle." Elena felt anger surge within her, not only for herself, but for everyone Marcus had hurt. Meanwhile, Claudia revealed shocking evidence she had hidden away, proof of Marcus's involvement in dangerous criminal activities and ruthless manipulation stretching years before Elena's rebirth. Knowing Marcus's ruthless power, Elena, Lucas, and Clea devised a daring strategy. They planned to infiltrate Marcus's private mansion during an exclusive charity gala, gathering concrete evidence to finally expose him publicly. Disguised elegantly, Elena entered the event, once again standing amidst the glittering elites. Cameras flashed eagerly, capturing her stunning arrival. Marcus, clearly unsettled by her confidence, masked his anger with charm. "Elena, always the phoenix rising," Marcus whispered dangerously as they briefly crossed paths. She smiled coolly, hiding the storm beneath her composed exterior. "You have no idea how high I can soar." Unnoticed by Marcus, Lucas and Claudia navigated secret passageways in his mansion, carefully retrieving the incriminating evidence hidden deep within his private study. But just as victory seemed near, Elena's phone buzzed urgently, a message from an unknown sender that chilled her to the bone. "Marcus knows. He's waiting for you." Fear surged through Elena's veins as she realized their careful plan had unraveled. Quickly signaling Lucas and Claudia, she attempted to retreat, but it was already too late. Marcus's voice boomed triumphantly through hidden speakers, echoing chillingly around them. "Welcome, Elena. Did you really think you could outsmart me?" The doors sealed shut, trapping them within Marcus's twisted web. Elena felt panic rise, but Lucas grasped her hand tightly, grounding her. Suddenly, Marcus appeared, his face twisted in malicious satisfaction. His voice dripped venomous mockery. "You might have risen from the dead, Elena, but you'll never escape my grasp. This time, your end will be permanent." Elena stared defiantly, unwilling to give Marcus the satisfaction of seeing her fear. But before Marcus could move further, Claudia stepped forward, a defiant glint in her eyes. "You underestimate all of us, Marcus. You're not the only one who knows how to play dirty." Marcus laughed cruelly, confident of his control. Yet, the determined expressions of Elena, Lucas, and Claudia hinted at another hidden twist waiting patiently in the shadows, one even Marcus hadn't anticipated. Marcus's confident smirk faltered momentarily, sensing something amiss in Claudia's fearless gaze. Elena, feeling emboldened, stepped forward, matching Marcus's arrogance with defiance. "You might think you've cornered us, Marcus, but the game is far from over," Elena declared fiercely, her voice echoing with strength. Marcus sneered, unfazed. "Bluffing won't save you now. The world will see you as criminals by dawn." Just then, the mansion's lights flickered, plunging them momentarily into darkness. Confusion filled Marcus's eyes as backup generators activated, revealing a shocking sight on the ballroom's giant screens. Marcus's hidden crimes, secret bribes, threats, and violent plots displayed openly before the elite guests. Gasps and murmurs erupted in horror. Lucas stepped beside Elena, a cold triumph in his gaze. "Did you really think we'd come without backup, brother?" Marcus staggered backward, disbelief and fury blending on his twisted face. Elena smiled, realizing Lucas had arranged another layer of protection, hidden cameras, live streaming Marcus's confession and threats to the world. Marcus, cornered but desperate, signaled abruptly. Armed security guards appeared swiftly, surrounding Elena, Lucas, and Claudia. "Did you really think I wouldn't have a contingency?" Marcus spat bitterly, regaining a dangerous composure. "If I'm going down, you're going down with me." Chaos erupted as Marcus ordered his guards to seize them. Elena's heart pounded, fear mingling with determination. Lucas shielded her protectively, prepared to fight to his last breath. Unexpectedly, Claudia stepped forward once again, raising her voice dramatically. "Marcus, stop this madness. You're already finished." Marcus laughed bitterly. "You think you have leverage, Claudia? You have nothing." She smiled coldly, producing a hidden recorder from her pocket. "You're wrong. I have everything, every conversation, every threat, every secret deal. The world already knows your truth." Marcus paled, rage and panic battling within his eyes. Clea tossed the device toward Elena. "This was always your fight, Elena. Finish it." Marcus lunged, desperate to seize the evidence, violence flashing dangerously in his eyes. Elena froze momentarily, but Lucas swiftly blocked Marcus's path. A fierce struggle ensued, chaos intensifying as security intervened violently. In a heartbreaking moment, Marcus managed to pull a concealed gun from his jacket, aiming at Elena. The world seemed to slow as he squeezed the trigger. "Elena, no!" Lucas shouted, diving in front of her as the gunshot rang sharply, echoing through the room. Lucas collapsed into Elena's arms, pain etched across his face, eyes filled with love and regret. Elena's world shattered again as she held him, tears flooding her eyes. "Lucas, stay with me," Elena begged desperately, her voice shaking. "Please." Marcus, shaken by the unintended consequence, staggered backward as sirens wailed in the distance, police and reporters converging swiftly. Claudia, horrified, shouted urgently, "Marcus, you've lost. Stop this." But Marcus's madness had escalated beyond reason. With a twisted smile, he aimed his weapon again, this time at Claudia. Before he could fire, a second shot echoed sharply, stunning everyone into silence. Marcus staggered, clutching his wounded shoulder, glaring furiously toward the ballroom entrance. A new, mysterious figure stood silhouetted against flashing lights, holding a smoking pistol, voice calm yet deadly serious. "This ends now, Marcus." Elena's eyes widened in shock, recognizing the face clearly, the last person she ever expected to see again. Elena stared in disbelief at the mysterious figure stepping slowly into the ballroom. Her heartbeat quickened, shock mingling with disbelief and confusion. "Father?" Elena whispered, her voice shaking with emotion. Vincent Delacroix, Elena's father, believed to be long dead, stood calmly before her, holding the gun steadily aimed at Marcus. His face, older and bearing new scars, still carried the warmth Elena remembered vividly. Marcus staggered, rage and confusion contorting his expression. "Impossible! Vincent! You're dead!" Vincent's calm gaze pierced Marcus with chilling authority. "You underestimated how far I'd go to protect my daughter, Marcus." Elena gently laid Lucas down, carefully entrusting him to Claudia's trembling care before approaching her father hesitantly. "Father, how are you alive?" she asked, voice barely audible through tears. He reached gently to touch Elena's face, eyes softening with regret and love. "I had to disappear to protect you. Marcus would have killed us both. I've been watching from the shadows, hoping you'd never need me again. But tonight, you gave me no choice." Police stormed into the mansion, quickly apprehending Marcus and securing the chaos. Cameras flashed relentlessly as the shocking scene was broadcasted worldwide. Marcus, cuffed and humiliated, glared bitterly at Elena, fury still burning in his eyes. "This isn't over, Elena," Marcus hissed venomously. "You'll regret." Vincent stepped closer, silencing Marcus instantly with his powerful presence. "No, Marcus. You're finished." Elena, relieved yet overwhelmed, turned quickly toward Lucas, whose breathing was weak but steady as paramedics attended him carefully. She knelt beside him, holding his hand firmly. "Don't leave me now, Lucas," she whispered desperately, tears flowing freely. Lucas's eyes fluttered open, struggling to smile weakly. "I promised. I'd always be by your side. Elena." She sobbed softly in relief, pressing a kiss gently to his forehead. Days passed swiftly as Marcus's trial and public disgrace dominated headlines. Elena's reputation soared even higher, now celebrated as a hero who'd exposed dangerous corruption and survived unimaginable betrayals. Lucas began his slow recovery, his bond with Elena deeper than ever. Yet, amidst joy and victory, Elena struggled to reconcile her father's mysterious past. In a quiet moment, Elena confronted Vincent. "Tell me everything, father. Why did you really disappear?" Vincent hesitated, guilt heavy in his eyes. "Because Marcus wasn't the mastermind, there's someone even more dangerous pulling strings behind the scenes, Elena. Someone who still threatens us all." Elena's heart sank, dread mingling with determination. "Who?" Vincent's voice lowered gravely, eyes clouded with fear and anger. "Your mother, Elena. She's alive, and she's been manipulating all of us." Elena staggered backward, stunned into silence by the devastating revelation, realizing her fight for justice and freedom had only just begun. Elena felt as if the ground beneath her had disappeared. The mother she believed had tragically died years ago was alive, and now revealed as the hidden puppeteer behind all the betrayals she had suffered. "My mother?" Elena whispered, struggling to grasp the reality. "But why? Why would she do this?" Vincent sighed deeply, regret etched across his face. Your mother, Isabel, never forgave me for separating from her. She blamed me for destroying her dreams. Marcus was merely a pawn she used to exact revenge against me through you. Pain surged within Elena, the feeling of betrayal deeper and colder than anything she'd ever experienced. Every memory of her mother, warm and comforting, now twisted into a cruel lie. Lucas, still recovering but alert, held Elena's trembling hand, providing silent support. He spoke calmly, strength returning to his voice. We need to face her, Elena. It's the only way to finally end this. Determined, Elena, Lucas, and Vincent tracked down Isabel's hidden location, an isolated estate deep in the countryside. The mansion loomed ominously, cloaked in mist and darkness, a fitting symbol of Elena's tangled past. As they entered cautiously, Elena's heart raced uncontrollably, each step heavier with anticipation. Suddenly, an elegant figure emerged from the shadows. Isabel Delacroix stood before them, radiating power and cold elegance. Welcome home, Elena, Isabel said softly, her voice deceptively gentle. I've been waiting a very long time. Elena's voice quivered, her emotions dangerously close to surfacing. Why, mother? Why destroy your own daughter? Isabel smiled sadly, eyes cold yet filled with hidden pain. You were always my greatest weapon against your father. But you've proven stronger than I ever imagined, perhaps too strong. She shifted her gaze sharply toward Lucas and Vincent, her expression hardening. You've forced my hand once more. Without warning, Isabel signaled, and guards swiftly emerged, surrounding Elena, Lucas, and Vincent. The tension was thick as Isabel stepped closer, confronting Elena directly. I never wanted it to end this way, Elena, Isabel whispered, a flicker of genuine sadness in her eyes. But your father left me no choice. Vincent's voice rose fiercely, challenging her openly. You did this, Isabel. Elena suffered because of your twisted vendetta. Isabel's eyes flashed dangerously. No more than you deserved, Vincent. You destroyed our family. Lucas tightened his grip on Elena's hand, sensing her conflict. She raised her voice boldly, confronting her mother's lies. I won't be your pawn any longer, mother. You've played your games, but I'm not afraid of you anymore. Isabel studied Elena thoughtfully, a cruel smile forming slowly. Perhaps, but there's still one secret you haven't uncovered. One that could shatter your heart forever. Isabel motioned calmly to a guard, who stepped forward holding a faded photograph. Elena's breath caught sharply at the image, a young Isabel holding two infants, identical twins. What is this? Elena stammered, confusion gripping her chest tightly. Isabel smiled bitterly, eyes glinting coldly. You have a twin sister, Elena. One who suffered all your hardships, yet never enjoyed your privileged rebirth. She is alive, hidden, and has grown to resent the life you've reclaimed. Elena's pulse raced, dread settling heavily. Her mother continued calmly, each word calculated to inflict maximum damage. Your sister wants everything you've gained, Elena, your empire, your reputation. Even your love. Isabel's eyes flickered meaningfully toward Lucas, whose face tightened with alarm. And soon, Isabel whispered chillingly, she'll come to take it all from you. Elena struggled to breathe, her world spinning chaotically around her. A twin sister, a hidden enemy born from the same womb, who envied everything Elena had worked to achieve. Her grip tightened instinctively around Lucas's hand. Where is she? Elena demanded shakily, fighting to steady her voice. Why hide her from me all these years? Isabel's eyes glittered with cruel amusement. Because, Elena, your sister is my greatest masterpiece, a weapon refined in bitterness, shaped by envy. She knows your every weakness because she shares them. Vincent stepped forward, shielding Elena protectively. Enough, Isabel. This twisted game ends here. Isabel laughed, cold and mirthless. Oh, it's only just begun. At that moment, another figure emerged slowly from the shadows behind Isabel. Elena froze, heart hammering violently in her chest. Her sister stepped into the dim light, a haunting mirror of Elena herself, yet colder, darker, her eyes void of warmth. Hello, Elena. Her twin spoke softly, voice tinged with chilling resentment. I'm Evelyn. I think it's time we finally met. Elena stared at Evelyn, feeling an unsettling mix of fear and curiosity. Evelyn moved closer, eyes locked intensely onto Elena's, her bitterness radiating palpably. "Do you know what it's like?" Evelyn whispered harshly. "To watch your own reflection live the life that should have been yours? To watch her rise from the ashes, adored and worshipped by the world, while you suffer alone in darkness?" Elena, heart aching unexpectedly, shook her head. "I didn't know you existed. If I had, things could have been different." Evelyn sneered coldly, eyes flashing dangerously. "But they weren't different, Elena. And now, everything you cherish will become mine, including him." Her eyes lingered threateningly on Lucas, whose grip on Elena's hand tightened protectively. Lucas spoke firmly, his voice steady and resolute. "You can't steal what's freely given, Evelyn." Evelyn smiled chillingly. "We'll see about that." Suddenly, Isabel signaled, and her guards lunged forward, forcing Elena, Lucas, and Vincent into a fierce struggle for survival. Elena fought fiercely, desperation fueling every movement as the room erupted into chaos. Amid the confusion, Evelyn confronted Elena directly, fury etched into her identical features. "This world isn't big enough for both of us." Elena, matching Evelyn's intensity, declared defiantly, "I won't let you take anything else from me." Their confrontation reached a breaking point as Evelyn lunged viciously. Elena sidestepped, heart pounding, realizing Evelyn was relentless, willing to destroy everything to take her place. Just as Evelyn raised her hand for another strike, Lucas intervened, forcing Evelyn back. "I won't let you hurt Elena," Lucas declared fiercely. Evelyn, stunned momentarily by Lucas's fierce protection, faltered briefly, pain flashing briefly behind her cold facade. Seeing Evelyn falter, Isabel, enraged, shouted harshly, "You're weak, Evelyn! Finish them now." Evelyn, hesitating, met Elena's gaze, something unspoken passing between them, vulnerability briefly surfacing. "Maybe I don't want this anymore," Evelyn whispered, conflicted, her voice trembling. Isabel's fury boiled over. "Then you're useless," she spat bitterly, pulling a concealed dagger swiftly from her sleeve, lunging directly toward Evelyn, willing to discard her own pawn. Elena, driven by instinct, leaped forward to shield Evelyn, their fates suddenly and inexplicably intertwined. Vincent and Lucas moved simultaneously, shouting desperately to intervene, but chaos blurred all reason. The room erupted once more into confusion, a tangled web of violence, betrayal, and redemption that left their lives hanging precariously on the edge. Time slowed as Elena shielded Evelyn, the dagger slicing through the air toward them. Vincent lunged desperately, deflecting Isabel's strike at the last possible moment. The blade clattered to the floor, the sound echoing sharply. "Enough, Isabel!" Vincent roared, his voice resonating with decades of pent-up anguish. Evelyn, shaken and confused, stared at Elena with newfound vulnerability. "Why? Why would you protect me?" Elena, breathing raggedly, met her sister's eyes. "Because we're family, Evelyn. And family shouldn't destroy each other." Evelyn trembled, her cold exterior fracturing slowly, tears threatening to fall. Isabel watched furiously as the sisters' bond unexpectedly strengthened, her carefully crafted weapon slipping from her grasp. "You've ruined everything," Isabel hissed, venom dripping from every word. Suddenly, sirens pierced the tense silence. The authorities, alerted by Vincent's hidden distress signal, burst into the mansion, swiftly overpowering Isabel's guards. Isabel, sensing defeat, attempted to flee, only to be quickly apprehended by police. Vincent approached Isabel, sadly yet firmly. "Your bitterness has cost you everything. It ends here." She glared back defiantly. "You think this ends with me? There are others who will come for you, Elena." Elena's stomach twisted with apprehension, knowing Isabel's threats held weight. Yet, Evelyn stepped forward, turning to Isabel with determination. "Not if I stand with my sister." Elena, surprised but relieved, felt a flicker of hope. Evelyn's resolve was genuine, an unexpected ally born from shared pain. In the aftermath, Elena and Evelyn sat together, sharing awkward yet genuine attempts at reconciliation. Lucas watched cautiously, protective yet supportive of Elena's decision to trust Evelyn. Vincent approached carefully, regret heavy in his voice. "I wish things could have been different. I wish I could have saved both of you." Evelyn hesitated before quietly responding, eyes lowered. Maybe it's not too late. Just then, Elena's phone vibrated urgently, an unknown number lighting up her screen. Anise returned swiftly as she opened the message. The real enemy has yet to reveal themselves. Trust no one. Days passed, the message haunting Elena. Trust became fragile once more, shadows seeming darker and threats more sinister. Lucas remained her anchor, yet even his presence couldn't fully dispel the lingering dread. Elena knew their victory was temporary, that peace remained elusive. Yet she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, someone else lurking, waiting patiently for the perfect moment to strike. Late one night, Elena awoke abruptly to a noise, her heart racing as she sensed danger nearby. Moving silently, she found her door slightly ajar, footsteps echoing softly in the hallway. Grabbing a small defensive weapon, she moved stealthily, her breath shallow, eyes wide with anticipation. Reaching the darkened living room, Elena froze. Someone stood silently by the window, waiting. Before she could speak, a familiar yet chilling voice filled the silence. "Hello again, Elena. Did you miss me?" Fear surged through her veins. Marcus had somehow escaped, back from the brink of ruin, his dangerous obsession renewed, determined to reclaim everything she'd fought to protect. Elena's heart pounded violently as Marcus stepped out of the shadows, his presence a chilling reminder of past horrors she thought she'd escaped. "You should be in prison," Elena hissed, her voice shaking with barely contained fury. Marcus smirked coldly, eyes glittering dangerously. "Did you really think prison could hold me? You underestimated how far my influence reaches." He stepped closer, his gaze filled with twisted obsession. Elena tightened her grip on the defensive weapon, fear mingling with determination. "What do you want, Marcus?" she demanded, standing her ground despite her trembling. He leaned forward menacingly. "Everything you took from me, my power, my reputation. And you, Elena." Suddenly, footsteps approached rapidly, interrupting Marcus's advances. Lucas burst into the room, eyes blazing protectively, fists clenched tightly. "Step away from her, Marcus," Lucas commanded fiercely. Marcus sneered mockingly. "Ah, Lucas, the loyal protector. But even you can't shield Elena forever." Before Marcus could continue, Evelyn and Vincent rushed into the room, alerted by the commotion. Evelyn's eyes narrowed dangerously at the sight of Marcus. "You never learn, Marcus," Evelyn growled coldly, positioning herself defensively near Elena. Marcus chuckled bitterly. "The prodigal sister returns. How charming. But Elena, do you really trust her?" Elena glanced briefly at Evelyn, uncertainty flickering momentarily. Marcus sensed this hesitation, exploiting it mercilessly. "Did she tell you, Elena?" Marcus taunted smugly. "Your dear sister once planned your death herself. Ask her about the deal we made." Elena's eyes widened, shock and doubt flashing across her face. Evelyn paled visibly, stammering desperately. "Anna, it wasn't what it sounds like. I changed." "Enough," Elena interrupted sharply, shaken by the revelation. "I don't know who to trust anymore." Marcus smiled triumphantly. "Exactly as I intended." Vincent stepped forward firmly, placing himself between his daughters and Marcus. His voice trembled with suppressed anger. "Your manipulations end now, Marcus. You've torn this family apart long enough." Marcus raised his hands mockingly, retreating slightly. "Perhaps, Vincent, but I'm not the only villain here. Your family is full of secrets that will destroy itself. No further help needed." With a cruel smile, Marcus turned swiftly and vanished through the open balcony door into the night, leaving behind a tense silence and the bitter seeds of doubt. Elena turned slowly toward Evelyn, her eyes filled with hurt and betrayal. "Tell me the truth, Evelyn. Did you plot against me with Marcus?" Evelyn's voice was barely a whisper, filled with regret. "I did at first, but then I saw the truth. I couldn't go through with it." Elena shook her head, overwhelmed by conflicting emotions. Lucas stepped closer, gently touching Elena's shoulder, whispering softly, "Elena, we need to be careful. Marcus wants to isolate you, to weaken us." Conflicted and cautious, Elena found herself facing difficult choices. Trust was fragile, even among those closest to her. Determined not to fall victim again, she secretly began investigating Evelyn's past connections, desperate to uncover any lingering threats. Meanwhile, Marcus's escape sent shockwaves through Elena's business empire, unsettling allies and emboldening rivals. Rumors spread rapidly, whispers of Elena's hidden vulnerabilities becoming dangerous weapons. One evening, while analyzing secret documents from Evelyn's past, Elena's phone buzzed urgently, a familiar yet anonymous sender. "Marcus isn't your greatest threat. Look closer. Danger sleeps beside you." Elena's breath caught sharply. Slowly, she glanced toward the bedroom door where Lucas slept peacefully. Could the warning truly mean Lucas, or was it another elaborate manipulation? Elena's heart raced, torn between fear and disbelief. Lucas, the one person she had trusted completely, could he really betray her? Determined to uncover the truth, Elena decided to confront him directly, knowing secrecy would only breed more doubt. That night, she stood by the bedroom door, watching Lucas sleep peacefully, her chest tightening painfully. "Lucas," Elena called gently, her voice trembling. He stirred awake, sensing the urgency in her tone. "Elena? What's wrong?" Lucas asked, sitting up immediately, concern evident in his eyes. Elena hesitated, the phone clutched tightly in her hand. "Someone warned me about you, Lucas. They said you're dangerous. Tell me, please, is there something you haven't told me?" Lucas sighed heavily, a deep sadness crossing his features. Slowly, he took Elena's hand, speaking softly yet firmly. "I never wanted you to find out this way," Lucas admitted, voice heavy with regret. "Marcus approached me long ago. He offered me power and influence in exchange for betraying you. I pretended to accept, but only to protect you, Elena. I've loved you from the start. I would never harm you." Relief flooded Elena as Lucas's sincerity shone through his words, washing away her doubts. Suddenly, the door burst open violently. Marcus stood framed by darkness, a twisted rage etched deeply into his face. "Enough lies, Lucas," Marcus shouted, his eyes wild with fury. "You were never loyal. You betrayed me for her. Now you'll both pay." Marcus lunged at Elena, but Lucas intercepted, wrestling fiercely as chaos erupted again. During the struggle, Marcus's gun discharged, the deafening echo reverberating through the room. Silence followed. Marcus staggered back, clutching a fatal wound, eyes wide with disbelief. His strength failed as he collapsed heavily onto the floor, taking his final breath. In the aftermath, peace slowly returned to Elena's world. With Marcus gone and Isabel imprisoned, Elena focused on healing, rebuilding trust with Evelyn, and embracing the love and loyalty Lucas had always shown. The wounds of betrayal healed gradually, replaced by bonds stronger than ever before. Elena and Evelyn found forgiveness, uniting as sisters to support each other. Lucas stood faithfully by Elena's side, their love becoming an anchor against past storms. Elena, standing confidently before a cheering audience at her new collection launch, smiled warmly. Lucas stood proudly beside her, Evelyn and Vincent watching with pride. Elena had truly risen above betrayal, revenge, and heartbreak, emerging stronger, wiser, and infinitely admired. "Every ending is just a new beginning," Elena declared firmly to the applauding crowd. "Life may knock us down, but our strength lies in standing up again, stronger, wiser, and better."